Well, it's great to be here. And, on this 30th anniversary of FMLA, it's really important to, as the previous speakers have mentioned, look at the lessons learned from the pandemic. I just think of the early days of the pandemic when I was going through the drive-through at the various places where I have to go to keep my kids fed because, my daughter at that time would only eat nuggets. Only chicken nuggets. You had that stage, right? And I remember thinking the folks here don't have an option, and some of them may be sick because their choice was go to work and get a paycheck to take care of their families, or stay home unpaid. And so and some people were choosing not to get tested, even after testing became widely available, because they were afraid that they would have to take time off, and that time off would be unpaid, and then they couldn't pay their bills and take care of their families. While 30 years ago, the FMLA's passage marked a huge step forward for our country, this truth is the law didn't go far enough, and we need paid leave. In the meantime, as we're working towards paid leave, we also need to include more people under FMLA. Bus drivers that are responsible for our kids' lives as they get them to school and back are not given a chance to look after their own children, should they be that be necessary. Some nurses who bandage our kids' knees when they fall at recess. The cafeteria workers who keep our kids fed and somehow manage to remember our kids' individual allergies. These folks may not be given the leave they need to care for their own newborn if they decide to start a family of their own one day too. Excluded from accessing benefits under FMLA, the ESPs are too often forced to make impossible choices between keeping their jobs and looking after a loved one. And this is completely unacceptable. So that's why I'm proud to be reintroducing my ESP and School Supports Staff Family Leave Act to right this wrong, to make sure that more of our schools' employees can finally access the basic hard-earned benefits through FMLA that they've long earned and certainly deserve. And it would modernize our nation's leave system, giving workers that the time that they need to take care of themselves, which in turn will strengthen our communities and our country. So thank you all for being here this afternoon. Thank you for FMLA. Certainly, my husband took advantage of it when I was wounded in Iraq, and he had to take time off to sit by my bedside for all those weeks. He was promptly fired as soon as the 12 weeks ran out, and he worked for an ROTC educational program. So it was a contractor that was, and his job was as a professor of military science, teaching and training the next generation of cadets. And as soon as his FMLA ran out, which was unpaid, they're like, thank you, you don't need to come back. Wow. This is how cutthroat it is out there. We need paid leave. We need paid leave so people can take the time and take care of their loved ones. And we also need to make sure we take care of ESPs and all of those wonderful people who take care of our children when they're in schools. Thank you.